Hey guys, it's Emily. I hope you guys are all doing well. I wanted to make a video that's a little different than the kinds of videos that I've made in the past. So if you haven't noticed, I haven't been posting a lot on YouTube lately, and the main reason of that is because right at the beginning of October, I got really sick with the flu, and it turned into this huge pneumonia month-long of sickness ordeal in my life. So I thought, why not make a video about it for you guys? A lot of the people who watch my videos are looking at moving to Korea, or they're interested in what it's like living here. I thought you might be interested in this. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so at the beginning of October, I'd kind of like not been feeling very well for a few days, but then one day I woke up and I just felt like really awful. And it was on a Sunday morning, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Because are there any like doctor's offices even open on a Sunday? So I ended up texting my friend Hansu, and Hansu came and picked me up and took me to a doctor that was open on Sundays. And when I got to the doctor, it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna give you his name because I don't want this to like come back at me for defamation or something. But basically, he didn't even take my temperature or anything, and he told me that I had a cold. And I was like, well, I mean, it's possible that it's just a really bad cold, but I'd had plenty of colds in my life, and this seemed really like way worse than a regular cold. And I was like, you didn't even take my temperature. And then he had the audacity to tell me that if I would just stop going out and drinking, and then I wouldn't have a hangover, and then I'd feel better. And I was so shocked that he said that, because I think it had been like over a month since I had even drank since then. I'm not like a big drinker. I'll just have like maybe 1 or 2 drinks per month or so, like, yeah. So I guess there's like some people here that have this stereotype that foreigners like to come here to party and drink a lot, so maybe he thought that I was one of those people. And I was like, no, like, it's Sunday and I'm missing church, like, this is the kind of person that I am. So I was kind of shocked and upset and a little offended that he kind of accused me of having a hangover and just going to the doctor for that. But anyways, he still prescribed me some medicine, even though it was just a cold. Or so he thought. And so I ended up getting the medicine and then went home, rested. My friend later on brought me some chicken and rice soup from Bonjuk, which is like the best if you're in Korea. You have to get the chicken and rice juk. I forget what the full name of it is in Korean. Dokjuk? Chicken porridge. Anyways, it's really good. It's like Korea's version of chicken noodle soup, and it is the bomb. So I ate that for dinner. The next morning, I still felt really bad, and I went into work anyways. Struggled through that day, and went home went into work the next day, so it was Tuesday morning. And I thought, oh, I should take my temperature, since, like, why didn't I think of that? I work at a preschool, and we take the kids' temperatures all the time. So I used their little ear gun thermometer and took my temperature, and it was like 38 degrees Celsius, I think. And I didn't know what that was because we use Fahrenheit in America, so I'm used to like 98.6 as the resting body temperature. And so I showed my co-teacher, who doesn't speak a lot of English. I was like, "Igo 괜찮아요?" And she was like, "Ah, 괜찮아요!" I'm like freaking out, and she ran to the director of the school and was like, oh my gosh, Emily has this really high temperature. So they sent me to the hospital. Well, it was like the international clinic at the hospital, and they said that I still had a cold, but they were like, yeah, your fever is really high, so we'll give you more medicine for that. So I was like, okay. So she said, do you want an injection? And I was like, what's this injection you're talking about? And she's like, oh, you can get an injection and it'll make you feel better. Well, like, what sick person is not gonna want that? So I was just like, sure, give me the injection. So I go in this other like waiting area of the hospital, and I'm like sitting there, they call my name, they pull me back behind a curtain, and she just like pulls down my pants and jams it right into my thigh, or in my, I guess my hip. That was pretty shocking. I was like, what? She didn't even like say, oh, okay, like, here we go, we're gonna poke. Nope, she just wham. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Anyways, she jammed that sucker in there and it hurt, but you know, it was just a shot, so it went by quick. And so then I immediately started feeling better. I went back to to my work, and the rest of the day I was like, wow, like this shot is amazing. I feel so much better. How come we don't have these in America? And that night I posted that on Facebook, and one of my friends commented and said, yeah, we don't use those in America because it's a steroid that suppresses your immune system. So it tricks you into thinking that you're getting better, but really it just stops your immune system, or like you're fighting antibodies or whatever they're called. It stops them from working, which is that when those things are working, that's what makes you feel sick, because it makes you feel tired and achy and worse. So I wasn't actually better, and by the next morning I felt awful again. And yeah, I just had to struggle through it and just go to work. Like, we don't really get a lot of sick days, and as a school teacher I feel really guilty taking sick days because in Korea they don't really have substitutes. So I felt really bad like not going in, and it's not like a physically demanding job. Like, I can kind of be on the floor just playing with the kids, and my co-teachers knew that I wasn't feeling well, and so they were like really nice about it, so it was fine. But then I started getting like this really bad cough and like lung issues for the rest of the week. So by Saturday morning, when I also have asthma, I should say. So when I was breathing on Saturday morning at like 6 a.m., I woke up and like I felt like when you breathe, like your lung is like, and my lung was only doing like it wouldn't go up, like I couldn't breathe anymore, and like it was making this horrible wheezing sound. So I decided to go to the hospital, and this time I decided to go to the like nicer hospital, which is St. Mary's Catholic Hospital by Gosok Terminal, and that hospital is like really like state-of-the-art, super fancy, and the price is still like way cheaper than American prices. I mean, to Korean people it's considered expensive, but I'm like happy to pay that much to get like good care, and the majority of the workers there speak like some English, so I didn't have to worry about there not being an international clinic, because that's the other thing is in Korea they have international clinics, but they're only open like Monday through Friday 9 to 5, so if you're sick at another time, then you need like, it's hard to go because you have to have a friend to go with you. But at this hospital, like most of the people speak some English, and they're at least enough for you to like be helped, so that was awesome. So I went to that hospital, and one of my pastors from my Korean church came and like stayed with me, so that was really nice because I felt bad that I was there alone, and my parents were so thankful that I had somebody there with me, since obviously they couldn't be there. So I ended up getting a CT scan, a chest x-ray, I got blood drawn from veins, blood drawn from an artery, which is really awful if you've never had that before, and then I also got some nebulizing breathing treatments. So I was in the hospital for like 6 hours, and they said that I could be admitted and spend the night if I wanted to, but they said that they were like out of rooms, or I'd have to like share a room with other people, and I thought, I think I'm just gonna go home and like rest it out. So they gave me a ton of medicine, and I think I had like 4 nebulizing treatments just in the hospital, which helped a lot. But yeah, so that was how I found out that I had pneumonia. And so I didn't go to work on Monday or Tuesday of that week. So it was kind of nice because I just got to stay home and rest and let my body recover, and I felt so much better when I went back to work on Wednesday. I still had like some breathing issues for a while, and it was nice, like I learned how to say in Korean that I had pneumonia because I had to take the elevator everywhere. And if you don't know this, the elevators in Korea are usually only for like the elderly and disabled people, or if you have like a small baby. But like I was so sick that I couldn't even walk down the stairs without like, I had to walk super slow everywhere I went because I would get out of breath so easily. And usually I'm like a power walker, especially since I moved to Korea. Usually my friends have to tell me to slow down. So I learned how to say in Korean, "배동이있어요," like I have pneumonia. That way if like an old ajumma yelled at me for riding the elevator, at least I could say like, I have pneumonia, like I can't. So luckily no one ever questioned me, and after that experience I learned that there's a ton of young people that take the elevator in Korea, and I thought that only like sick people could do that, but no one ever yelled at them either, so. Okay, sorry if it suddenly looks different. I had to switch to my iPhone because my camera battery died. So this footage is of when I had to go back to the hospital on Tuesday for my checkup. They did an x-ray where they made sure that the swelling was going down in my lungs. So this is St. Mary's Catholic Hospital in Sachoku. And here's me going up the escalator, and then we have this Whole Foods type store. It's like Korean Whole Foods. It's called Orga. So I went there and I bought this oatmeal milk and a choco pie. And they also have this orange juice stand where they make really good fresh squeezed orange juice, but it's really expensive. But the hospital also had this huge 7-Eleven, and it had like everything you need if you have to spend the night at the hospital. And you could get like gifts there and stuff too if you were going to visit somebody. They had like so much fruit, like tons of citrus stuff, and like anything that you could think of that a sick person would want, like they had it there. They had so much food. So it was kind of like fun to walk around. I wasn't bored while I was waiting, that's for sure. And then also they had this little chapel, so that kind of made it feel a little better when I could go in there and like pray and stuff. So it was kind of relaxing, I guess, while I was waiting. I thought I would talk about some of the differences between healthcare in America versus healthcare in Korea. These are based on my opinion, and also some of the stories that I've heard from my friends. They're not necessarily like a 100% all the time, this will always happen to you things, so I'm not saying anything bad against America or Korea, I'm just saying what I've noticed here. So first of all, I've noticed the price is way cheaper. I think my price of my emergency room visit was around like 350,000 won, which is like 325 US dollars. And I just know that if I were to have done that in America in the emergency room, it would have been more like $3,000 or $4,000. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely a positive thing, at least coming from America where healthcare is super expensive. One of the other things that I noticed is sometimes, since Korea is a very homogenous society, since Korea is so homogenous, they're not really used to foreigners here yet. So sometimes people have some preconceived stereotypes about foreigners, and unfortunately one of those things that some usually older Koreans believe is they think that foreigners are just here to party and just here to drink and be crazy. So when I first went to the doctor and he basically said that I was hungover, like that was just one annoying like instance that I had to deal with somebody having a stereotype about me when they didn't even know me. I had another friend who went to the doctor because her ankle was broken, and while they were setting her ankle, they shattered the bone. And when the doctor came to see her for that, they wouldn't give her pain medicine. And she was like, well, my ankle is shattered and I'm in tremendous pain. Why can't I get pain medicine? And they said, because all foreigners become addicted to painkillers. And it's just like, what? Like, how can you say that about all foreigners? Like, so Korean people are always allowed to take painkillers and foreigners can never take painkillers? Because, yeah, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's obviously wrong. Of course, that was just that one doctor. I'm not saying that all doctors think that way. I highly doubt that that is the case here. But just know that if you come here as a foreigner, you might have some sort of preconceived stereotypes against you, as in all life living abroad. that's just something that can happen to you, especially in a place where you look different than most of the people there. So that's one of the other things. The medicine is super cheap too, I guess, along with the healthcare. I think my inhaler was like 3,000 won, so like super cheap, like less than $3 US. So that was really awesome. Basically, like any time I've gotten medicine here, it's been like less than $5. So that's one of the really good things about living here. 잠깐만요. Okay, so one of the other things was that chiropractic care is about the same price as the US. So generally speaking, all healthcare and medicine is generally cheaper. Like that's why people come to Korea for getting plastic surgery. That's why a lot of people just do like dental work and skincare stuff here, because it's cheaper. But one thing that that's not cheaper that I've noticed is chiropractic care. So if you like going to the back doctor and getting adjusted once a week like I do, or try to, then just know that you're probably gonna pay the same that you did in the US. I think in the US I paid $36 US when I went to the chiropractor, and when I come in Korea it is 45 to 50,000 won, so it's about the same price, if not slightly more. One of the other things that I thought I would talk about is how in Korea there's no like privacy laws. So your employer can ask about your medical history, and they legally can like get a background check on your medical history. So this is just for English teachers coming here. I don't know about like other kinds of visas or how this applies for Korean nationals. But when you apply for an E2 visa, you have to like write down any diseases you have, or like if you have any like major surgeries in the past. So if you don't do that, then when you first come to Korea, they'll find out. So I guess my advice is don't lie on that part if you have something wrong with you. But basically, like the first week you arrive in Korea, you'll have to go to a hospital and do like a full like checkup. They check like your like eyesight, hearing, breathing, blood pressure, blood tests, everything. So just know that that'll happen when you first come to Korea. And also, if you have to leave work to go to the doctor, your boss can ask you why. Like, they can say, like, what doctor are you going to? And, like, you can have to tell them. So hopefully it's nothing embarrassing for you. I went to the doctor because I was having, like, heart palpitations. And luckily it just turned out to be, like, some anxiety. But, like, that'd be kind of embarrassing if you had to go for something else. But yeah, just know that that's like something that could happen when you come to Korea, and like other people can overhear. And I'm not sure if, like exactly what the laws are against that. I've never really like looked into it in depth, but just know that that's something that could happen to you if you come to Korea. If you like this video and you want to see more talking videos like this, then let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know too. I always appreciate feedback and I always respond to your comments. So to my family and friends back home, I miss you all and I love you. Bye!